Ponder Spirals here, and I'm at a little bit of a breaking point. If you're new to this experience, sharing with you here. Yeah, if it's hard to understand. If you see my abrasiveness, my harsh, dark humor coming through, um, right? It's kind of hard to see me, at least the way I see myself, or my friends who have known me the whole time see me. I might seem a little crazy and unpredictable and even dangerous, but I've never hurt anyone in my life. I don't have huge empathy because of my upbringing. I grew up Mormon, and it was just nurtured in that culture for everyone to be on a level of like social denial. They all reinforce their beliefs with each other, and right. I just, even as a kid, the questions I would ask were very triggering to people because I would point out, just logical fallacies and stuff. And so I've just, because I've been a question asker my whole life, I've had a lot of problems because my questions often point out contradictions. And so, I'm finally, I'm 40, almost 46 next week. Um, this last few years, I've done a lot of research in psychology, and right, so I'm autodidactic, and I've always just taught myself whenever I get interested. Like when I was 17, I got into mushrooms and just dove into all the books I could find on mushrooms and just read them through over and over. You know what I mean? I probably had a degree, a bachelor's in mycology by the time I was 18 years old, but didn't ever really care about the tests or the degree actual. I mean, I just wanted the knowledge, the the ability to make sense of what I find out in the field. And so, yeah, I found all sorts of cool stuff as I just go from subject to subject, and I find, things that pique my curiosity, and I just dive right into it. You can't even talk to me about anything else, right? Like last year, I was talking about nothing but meteorites, and the year before, fulgurites, the lightning glass. I've got a bunch of specimens of that. And right? So I've never cared about really the money aspect or the degrees or getting any kind of like respect or acknowledgement of my expertise. I just do it for fun, and right, it seems like, I mean, I could make a career out of this. Like I'm a glass blower, right? I was an inventor coming up with just so many new techniques and new ideas with glass, and I would see how quickly people would just copy my ideas and sell them for less, and I would just change and do something else instead rather than even care. But yeah, I just wanted to give like an introduction for my splash page on my channel, just because yeah, people just don't know. You come in at any of my changing phases, and you just might think like, "Whoa, what is this guy all about?" So. Yeah, it's like I've kept my channel just flowing, and you can look back if you watch my channel like from all the way backwards, all the oldest videos forward, you'd kind of see the craziest story. I mean, it's like 3 movies put in a row, kind of. Um, and I've gone through so many changes. I'm such a different person. I mean, and had trouble in California and had to close down my businesses in California. I was a cannabis grower and glass blower there, and I had a cruise doing, the garden and making concentrates and all that, and medical all the way through, legit. And yeah, so then I got this land in Hawaii, and we got hit, and it's just had to reduce it down to just where we were going to try to live off grid and grow our own food and keep it simple. But man, Hawaii was unexpectedly impossible. Just wow. So that's a whole I mean, I'm gonna make a set of movies about these and just kind of, you know, like change names and just make the scenario easier to understand by, you know, laying it all out. But and then, you know, it's sci-fi and all that, because I've seen so many things that are unexplainable. All the orbs around here, there's so many, like at night, and people just don't look at the sky for longer than a few seconds. But you know, I'm the kind of person to just space out, and all of a sudden I'll be like, dude, that star is totally just warbling and moving through the, you know, that. It's like, what the crap, you know. Um, and so I don't know. I'm just I most people just think I'm crazy, right? And so that's where I'm at. I've had a little bit of a scenario unfolding, and I seem to have removed myself from the the area of congested. You know, pretty much my biggest fans. They're actually like haters and just stalking me and shit. So anyway, I think I've changed my triggering um, attitude just around everybody. I used to just act by myself, you know, act like myself wherever I was. But now I'm feeling people out to see who's got a sense of humor, which is one huge sign of intelligence to me. So yeah, if you laugh at little dirty jokes, if you laugh at like highbrow, you know, kind of like hard to see the irony, contradictions exposed by my choice of words or whatever. Sometimes I make them. My jokes are hard to understand, so it would be cool as you, if you ever, you know, do get into my channel and enjoy some of the keys that I'm exposing and my life lessons that you can learn from and hopefully not make the same mistakes. And right, I try to, I like to feel like I inspire people to be autodidactic and teach themselves whatever they're curious about and just ask the questions, you know, right when the questions crosses. If someone uses a word you don't know, look it up and, you know, or stop them and be like, what does that mean? And be, you know, be grateful for people that teach. I mean, to me that's a big thing, because a lot of people do get triggered by that. They're like, oh, what, you think you're smarter than me? And they just like, you know, but I want to be around people that can teach me as well, and are happy to share, and they're, you know, we can keep each other, um, you know, in a respectful like check by, right, by asking the questions and feeling comfortable enough to ask the questions and not feeling vulnerable or judged by, you know what I mean, just so that's, I mean, right, wouldn't that be beautiful to just have friends that are all hypothetical philosophers too, and everybody just loves to trip out on what ifs and, you know, um, so I find it to be the most exciting part of life is just discovery. And it blew my mind when I realized, when I read in my astronomy book, my college astronomy book, that said that, you know, all these things like dark matter and all this stuff are just created because of our expectations on the galaxy moving the same as the solar system would, following Newton's laws, right? But I'm like, dude, Newton's laws weren't even complete. And why would you, I mean, dude, completely different dynamic systems, but they are caused by the same force, which I'm figuring out. So there's, right? I mean, people just get really triggered by me. They're like, oh, you're going to figure out how relativity was incomplete. I'm sure you're just as smart as Einstein. Or claiming to be smarter. But that's not the case. I'm actually very, very dumb socially, like in so many ways. You know, like the autistic kid that can just play the piano after hearing a song one time. I can't do that. I mean, I'm pretty good with music. I pick it up, but I don't know if I'll ever be like talented in any instrument because I'm kind of slow, and I have to find a different way to do it a lot of times. Like with glass blowing and all these things, I came up with different techniques and had to teach myself. Um, but yeah, so like my glass, I was obviously just doing crazy stuff and changed the current, like the direction it was headed. So that was cool. And then, right, so many ways I do show like that genius level of creativity, and other times I'm just really, really dumb. And my hopeful thinking, my faith in humanity's underlying goodness. I mean, I think people are really, if we all were raised with like good families and good situations and shown love and compassion, then I think we would reflect that in our, and then if the world was like full of people that were full of love, we would be happy, man, prosperous. We would, stop holding each other down and elevate. So that's my goal. Spirofinity is my company. It's, existed for a little over a decade, I guess. And yeah, it's been 13 years. So we're, my goal was to help the world, elevate humanity through art and love. And that's, it's what so I do a lot of really harsh, triggering humor. A lot of people have been, they tease me about looking like Jesus and then trying to be, a Mormon, and so I make a lot of Jesus jokes, and so I went atheist when I was, or like agnostic more when I was in my 20s, because I had to let go of my Mormon beliefs and realize that they were just all indoctrination, impressions, and so I had to rewire my brain and start over fresh and decide what to believe in. And that's when I realized that there was different personality types, and people that I can't be around, people that interrupt my um, flow because I won't remember to go back to it. So like interrupters or doubters, or just people like one-uppers, just stories, you know what I mean? Like if we can't continue through the topic, I'm just like, I get really I can't have a conversation that's not like fair debate rules, like where you can like I'll listen. I'm a great listener, um, and that's all. I expect to be treated the same. So that's the thing. And then right, so that was before I knew all the psychology of the different personality types and all that stuff. And so now I'm seeing there's the types, because I live so free and loose and wild and unscheduled and all that. People that are like control freaks and OCD and have to have everything perfect and all that, like they they can't be around me. They can't watch, looking at me like riding the line dangerously and almost failing and all, open about my failures, when people are just like they only show their wins and all that. So it's funny. So I've become kind of a filter in a way. So the people that are still following me through all these hard times and all this chaos, and not even understanding when I was being so targeted that I just kind of I did some crazy publicity statements to really call attention to you know the, it was like like a narcissist mob nightmare. Like I triggered all the narcissists in town by being so like open empath, and so, and yeah, it just I literally had mobs attacking me and stuff. It was crazy. I mean, because it was just one guy targeting me. The guy scammed me into buying the land, and him gaslighting and spreading rumors, and it just turned into this whole shitstorm. It was crazy. So I think there's that playlist that kind of explains that, shows it a little bit. Something magical in the playlist. This is getting long. I just wanted to introduce myself and let you know, like a general who I am. My daughter is in Pennsylvania. I hope to get back with her this year. Her mom pulled a stunt, and when I got transferred to Hawaii, when my mail finally showed up, I got letters saying like, "What? You served me through the mail, and what? Court already happened?" Like, oh my god. She changed from California to Pennsylvania, and Willow Moon, I miss you so much. If anyone knows how to get a hold of her and tell her, LaCourt told her mother to give her my info so she could call me whenever she wants. I don't even think she even told, like the mom probably didn't even tell my daughter that she even went to court, much less give her my info. So, um, internet, help us get back together. Oh my God. She was with me till she was 10 and a half, and we were just like adventure buddies, you know what I mean? She had like the best childhood ever, man. I hooked her up. So, anyway, I love being a dad. I hope one day to have more kids. I'm getting kind of older, but I haven't given up on that yet. But it's weird because I don't give it time. I mean, dude, I don't know how I'll ever hook up again because I'm just like finally so into my science, into writing my book that's gonna, share my reprogramming of my brain twice and how it led to all these scientific discoveries and all this stuff, dude. Like, electric universe concepts. Watch the Thunderbolts channel, Thunderbolts Project. Ben Davidson is Suspicious Observers with a zero as the O. Um, daily daily science updates and sun to earth, dynamic news, daily space weather news. So yeah, Ben Davidson, superhero. Yeah, man, it's all coming. And the James Webb Telescope, we had. I mean, dude, like there's all these discoveries and all these anomalies that I've been making predictions that we would see. These filaments in between the galaxies, and Halton Arp look him up. Halton Arp. He pointed out with his telescope time that some of these pulsars were same redshift, but they were supposedly in different galaxies, but you could see the filament between them. And so like he was like, maybe that is a small galaxy connected to a bigger one. And he was totally right. His bosses told him, don't mention this shit. You're supposed to be doing his pulsar readings, or he'll lose his telescope time. He wrote a book pointing out all the anomalies, published it, and they fired him for talking against the narrative. So science is kind of got their egos. They're like I see the narcissistic entity that living throughout. Right? They've got to be right. They can't even conceive the possibility of being off course in any way. So that's, as an artist, that's my goal, is to just like be able to talk about these things without being triggering. You can't tell somebody directly you're wrong, but you can, in a way, laugh at yourself for thinking, that their narrative was the only line of thought. And so, yeah, I'm learning that you can make jokes, but not actually even calling yourself dumb for believing something. If somebody still believes that, right, they're going to take that personally, like you're calling them dumb. But I mean, dude, it's like a lot of these things, I was in my 40s before I figured out, right? I started doing the psychology work and all this stuff, and I started realizing my own diagnosis, and that I'm autistic and severe ADHD, and now I had PTSD to all that, and now ODD surfaces, and I've gone straight up like they call it Elvis Presley mode, but I'm thinking it's more like superhero mode, where you're just like straight up standing up against oppression. And so yeah, I don't know. In 2010, I wrote the Declaration of Interdependence for the occupiers, and um, right as soon as I was releasing it, on these little postcards, yeah, they had that shut down. Sent the undercovers in, and so I shelved the idea when I hooked up with this amazing woman, and we just decided to have a good life and not, but the core idea was to build a global voting platform, like just an app where we can vote on things. And I was thinking of a crypto that gives us a survivable salary worth of, these cryptos. and participation in the voting platform, you can earn more. And then, right, and attaching questions to the votes, and so you can go through 2 stages if you want to do it that way. And then if you answer all the questions right, you actually earn extra cryptos for those questions, and your vote counts extra times. So intelligence is actually making more of an impact in the whole outcome. I mean, dude, I thought through everything to just like pretty much try to establish real freedom and real democracy. And, right, I mean, people treat me like I'm not patriotic or anything. I love my country, and I just think that we've complicated things over the years, and the core, um, you know, concept of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence are beautiful, and I stand by that shit all the way. And I just, I think that we could just, so I mean, I tried when I was 30 or whatever, and did it for the occupiers. I wrote a new Declaration of Interdependence, thinking that it was going to be like, help the New World Order people see that we could do it simpler, and not be destructive, and that overpopulation isn't really a problem if we just incentivize birth control for people, and you know what I mean? Just, I think we should be having more genius babies. But yeah, it's just it's all backwards right now. But I see the light, and I see a better way, and I don't even have to like confront anyone directly. I just kind of need to start showing a better way, and that's what I was trying to do with my off-grid little farm, and trying to DJ and just have fun, celebrate having fun. But it was like through, the lockdown and all this stuff. I refused to do the cover my face, and people were very, you know what I mean. So they took sides right away. That I was just still throwing parties in the woods and still having fun, supplying an environment to dance and um, elevate. And so, yeah, everybody was like, "You're trying to kill my grandma by being, like totally